Good morning you guys, it's Karen and I'm here to talk about the Retinol 1% in Squalane from the Ordinary. Just a quick history of mine with retinol products. I have used in the past the La Roche-Posay Ardemic R and really enjoyed them, and that's probably the strongest retinol I had used. Other than I have used retinoids, prescription retinoids in the form of Differin, but not really continuously. I've never been very good at sticking to the retinoids, which is the problem that a lot of people have, and that's what research results show, that a lot of people could benefit from retinoids and retinols if they stuck to it, but because your skin reacts a certain way, you tend to give up, and that's certainly been me. Retinol 1% in silicone has been discontinued online, and they are saying they're going to let it sell out in shops in their stores, but they're not going to continue with that. I had no problems with the advanced 2% retinoid, but I've talked about that in the retinoid video on the 5%, that it's a retinoid ester, so it's very weak, and I never had any irritation problems with that. However, with the 1% retinol in silicone, I had a lot of problems. I tried every which way to make it work for me. At one point I thought my skin was getting accustomed to it, and I used it 2 nights in a row, and it just made a complete mess of my neck. My neck was like came out in hives. It was really bad. So the Retinol 1% in silicone was not for me. And I know that some people, certainly I've had feedback from a couple of you, that you really enjoyed the 1% in silicone and that you had no reaction to it. So there are some people with skin that's hardy enough to tolerate the 1%, but there's also a lot of people that didn't tolerate it. So I only purchased the 1%, and I was interested to compare it directly with the 1% in silicone. So see if I had the same reaction to it by using it the same way, and the result is yes, I have had the same reaction. I have used this once a week. I used it initially when I got it, and I found that I had really sensitive skin kind of around here, sort of the top of my cheeks, around by my nose, and a little bit on my forehead. But I thought, you know what, let me give this the benefit of the doubt, because the mistake I made was I also used the flavanone mud that week, which can cause some sensitivity, and the following week when I used this, I used the non-acid acid precursor from Deciem, from Nars, and there was one other product that I talked about. Oh, I used a derma roller, only a very tiny 0.2 millimeter derma roller, but still I thought all of those things could have affected how sensitive I was to this. So I decided that I was going to use it in a 1 to 2 week period, and in that period I would not use the flavanone mud, I would not use my derma roller, and I would not use the non-acid acid precursor, so that I could, if I got a reaction to this, know that it was from this and nothing else. This is the second week, and I can tell you that I'm having exactly the same reaction to this as I did the 1% in silicone. I don't know whether you can tell or not, but I have redness on my neck. I think it might only show close. So I've tried it on my face and neck. Definitely my neck was more sensitive to retinol. But on my face, it's again, I've got sensitivity around here, around my nose, and a little bit on my forehead. Now, when I say sensitivity, it's funny because I wanted to try it on my neck because my neck will physically show the reaction. So I will see the redness, and I can see the redness, albeit slight at the moment. But with my skin, the way that I can tell is when I use the vitamin C in silicone, 30%, or anything that has any kind of active in it. If I have used the 1% retinol, then my skin feels sensitive in those places. It's not that it feels sensitive if I don't use those products. If I just used, you know, hyaluronic acid and my hydration vaccine, I probably wouldn't notice the sensitivity until it was too late. But I can tell the sensitivity because my vitamin C in the 30% vitamin C in silicone does not sting my skin at all on most days. But if I have used this 1% silicone just once on one night per week, then my skin is sensitive, but not until a couple of days afterwards, which is really important to note. And although my skin is showing that it's red on my neck, that's only started showing last night, and I put this on 3 days ago. So this is day 3 since I applied it on my neck and face, and it's only kind of last night and this morning that I'm really feeling the sensitivity, and the same thing happened the week before. So I would say that if, like me, you reacted badly to the 1% retinol in silicone, I wouldn't immediately go and buy this 1%. I would get the 0.2% in Squalane, because then you can at least test it out on your skin and see if your skin tolerates it more. And I would say it would be better to use a 0.2% twice a week than to use a 1% once a week and your skin react to it. The idea with retinoids in general is that you acclimatize your skin to it so that you start off low. I got this because I wanted to directly see the comparison between the 1% in the different formulations, but also because retinol is it's a weak retinoid and it's not going to act as fast as a retinoid cream, and so the higher percentage, the faster you will get results. But if, like me, you're getting a 1%, using it once a week, and it's bringing you out in a reaction and you end up not using it, then you're not going to get the benefit anyway. I had a look at the ingredients, and the addition is obviously the squalane instead of the silicone, and it also seems to have the addition of tomato extract, which they've also put in their gram-active retinoid complexes as well. So I think that's a great product to have in there. I really do think this is a good product. I really think this is a wonderful product because retinol is proven. The ingredient is retinol. It's not a retinol ester. It is retinol, which is proven. But the difference between retinol and retinoid is that retinol needs to be converted at least once. I think there's actually 2 steps. I think it gets converted to retinaldehyde and then to retinoic acid, which is a retinoid in your skin. It will be converted into retinoic acid in the skin. It will work in exactly the same way. They have tested side by side retinol versus retinoid, and all the research studies show the exact same differences, but just with a time delay using retinol. So on the skin, this feels exactly the same as the gram-active 5% retinoid, to be honest, which is in Squalane. It feels no difference at all. I don't feel any irritation putting it on. Like I said, it takes a couple of days until the irritation kind of appears in my skin, but it feels lovely. I love these formulations. They don't just have Squalane in them. They also have jojoba oil in them, and so I don't know whether it's the combination, but I really, really like this. So moving forward, I'm not going to use this because if I can't use it once a week, then it means I can't use it at all, really, because there's no less than that. What I need to do is order the 0.2% retinol in Squalane. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I'm tempted to. I might well do that because what I could do is acclimatize my skin. Like I said, the best way is to start low and work your way up. So I could start with the 0.2%, move on to the 0.5%, and maybe at that point my skin would be okay with this. This is in Squalane, which is a stable oil, but retinol itself is an unstable product. So I don't know how long this would last. I might need to ask Deciem how long they would say this would stay active for. It says on the back, I think that says that it's got a shelf life of 6 months. I'm not sure, so I'll need to be aware of when I bought it. Lovely product, but if you haven't tolerated the 1% retinol, I would, or haven't tried it, I would start at the 0.2%. Don't use anything more than that because you'll love it. I feel like you'll love it if you don't end up irritated to it. And there's more chance of you not being irritated if you start off at the 0.2% and your skin will acclimatise to it. So I would say go for the 0.2% and leave this until your skin is ready for it. I haven't talked about what the benefits of retinol and retinoids are. I will do in that other video, I think, but it covers pretty much everything. Anything to do with aging. It targets fine lines and wrinkles, it targets pigmentation, pores, skin texture, literally anything that is a result of aging or photo damage, UV damage will be addressed by retinols and retinoids. That's everything from me. I will list all of my makeup in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Let us know, of course, if you have got the 1% and how you've reacted, if you've got the other percentages. I'd love to know if anybody's reacted to the 0.2%. That would be really interesting to see, and what your favourite one is out of all the retinoids and retinols, etc. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.